Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be working on lesson 12.9, Problem Solving, Elapsed Time. Elapsed time means that it is the amount of time that has passed or gone on. Let's begin. Opal finished her art project at 2:55 p.m. She spent 50 minutes working on her project. What time did she start working on her project? So we need to find out what time she started working on her project. So we need to find her start time. What information do I need to use? Now the problem gave us some information. So it gave us the end time of 2:55 p.m. Right? She finished at 2:55. That's her end time. Her elapsed time is 50 minutes, or the time it took her, or the time she spent doing her project was 50 minutes. How are we going to use this information? The first thing we're going to do is draw a diagram of a clock. Then count back 5 minutes at a time until we reach 50 minutes. So, like we did yesterday, when we work on a clock, we count back or forward in 5-minute increments. So, let's solve the problem. I'm going to start by showing 2:25 p.m. on the clock, which they have right here. 2, and then I count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 2:25 on the clock. Then I count back 50 minutes by 5s. So I'm going to start here where I stopped at 25. I'm going to count backwards. So counterclockwise. Think, as I go back, I pass the 12. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Now I pass the 12. The hour must be 1 hour less than the ending time. So the hour will be 1 o'clock. So we started at 2 o'clock, but now that we've passed the 12, it's going to be 1. So Opal started her project at 1:35. Let's go over that. We started at 2:25. We went back 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So our minute hand would be on the 7, which is 35 minutes. And I can find that by counting 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So she started her art project at 1:35 p.m. Let's try some together. Draw hands on the clock to help you solve the problem. Number 1. Bill wants to be at school at 8:05 a.m. It takes him 20 minutes to walk to school. At what time should he leave his house? So, I started on my clock at 8:05 a.m. So, our hand is pointing toward 8 and the minute hand toward 5. 5 minutes after. Now, since it takes him that long to walk, they want to know what time should he leave for school. So I'm going to count backwards. So starting at my 5 minutes, remember we're counting backwards by 5. Every time you get to a number on the clock, that is minus 5 minutes. So 8:05, 5, 10, 15, 20. That's 20 minutes. Remember, I also pass the 12. So that means I need to go back an hour. So I'm going to go back to 7 o'clock. Now let's check out the time. Bill should leave his house at, I know it's going to be 7. Let's see what the 9 tells us. I'm going to count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So Bill should leave his house at 7:45 a.m. Let's try another. Number 2. Mr. Gleason's math class lasts 40 minutes. That means it's 40 minutes long. Math class starts at 9:55 a.m. What time does math class end? They want to know, what time does it end? So, on my clock, I'm going to begin at 9:55 a.m. So, I'm almost at 10 o'clock, 9:55. And since it lasts or takes 40 minutes or is 40 minutes long, I know I'm going to count clockwise. So, I'm going to count 40 minutes. So, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So, my minute hand is going to move toward the 7 for 40 minutes. So, math class ends at 10:35 a.m. And I got my 35 minutes by counting, starting at the 1 by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Let's try one more. Number 3. Hannah rode her bike for 1 hour and 15 minutes until she got a flat tire at 2:30 p.m. What time did Hannah start riding her bike? So, we need to find out what time she started. Her start time. We know she finished at 2:30 p.m. and it took her 1 hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to start on my clock by drawing the hands for 2:30. I started with the hour hand pointing toward the 2 and the minute hand pointing toward the 6. Because I know 30 minutes past is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It gives me the 6. Since Hannah's rode her bike 1 hour, I know I'm going to pass the 12 again. So I'm going to go back 1 hour from 2 to 1. So I can write my 1 for my hour. Now I need to go back another 15 minutes, which means I'm going to move the minute hand back 15 minutes. So let's count. 5, 10, 15. Which leaves my minute hand pointing toward the 3. Now I can count starting at 1 by 5s. 5, 10, 15. So I know Hannah started riding her bicycle at 1:15 p.m. If you have any questions, be sure to ask your teachers.